Hi, uh, welcome to a fall show. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and what you're looking at today is what I call the pet cemetery on the farm, and it's a place I cleared out about 10 years ago, and the animals can come out here. It's fenced in, but it's kind of a reverent place. I've got a big stone piece of granite down there that I found looks kind of like a tombstone marker or a grave marker that I set in. And I've got sheep out here, dogs, cats. Uh, there's a calf, a goat, couple of goats, a fox or two, and my dog Lemon, or our dog Lemon. She's right here. So I wish I could say today's a happy video. It's one of the few ones where it's really not happy. But I wanted to make a video about my wife's dog, really. She's my wife's dog, and my son Aiden, who's up at Job Corps, she's his favorite because he's Chance. He's kind of dopey, but Lemon is smart, was smart, and and she was kind of his dog. So we had to make a really tough choice last week, and it's one of those choices that seems like no matter what choice you pick, they all suck. So I picked the choice that was going to give her the least amount of pain, but not necessarily us. So quite a few years ago, I don't talk about it a whole lot. At some point, I can't even tell you the sequence of events really what happened, but it's an experience that a lot of people who've been exposed to traumatic events encounter, I guess. And so anyway, at one point, it's pretty much near the end of my rope, and I went to the VA, and they helped me, and they still do. But one of the things I got was this dog. So my future wife to be and I and a couple of the kids went to, I think it was PetSmart, and they had some puppies that came up. I don't remember where they were from, maybe Georgia. It doesn't matter. But there was this litter of puppies, and I don't remember how many there were, five or six maybe. And so there were about, almost all of them were this brown and white kind of lab Catahoula mix, like my dog Chance. But there was one that was yellow, and it was the only female. She was a runt, and her name was Lemon. So we got there. I think we got there probably around 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm not joking. Maybe even earlier. I don't know, but we wanted to be the first people in line to get dog, and so we stayed there. And sure enough, we were the first ones in line. And I actually had another dog picked out that I wanted. I don't remember the names because they were just names that were assigned. And I picked him up and put him down. But this one dog would come over, and I'd pick him up and play with him, and I'd put him down, and he'd go for a little circle and come right back. He did it quite a few times, and then finally I realized that the dog I went there for wasn't the dog I was coming home with. My future stepson, he had picked out the her name was, we called her Lemon, and so they kind of picked each other out. But my future wife to be and I, we weren't living together, and we didn't really have a plan, so it didn't seem like it was a problem to have these two dogs. And you know, over the years, it wasn't a problem. They for sure fed off each other, and if one got a dumb idea, they both decided they were going to do it together, like chase porcupines or skunks or whatnot. And they were pals. But Lemon was the smarter one. Chance just kind of hung back and was a typical boy, and he was pretty dumb. But his sister was the smart one. I don't talk about religion or politics much. I don't need to on this channel. It's not what it's about. But I am religious, and I hope that there's a place for dogs.